They have too much, a little too much.
I'm right here. She's right there.
Oh, sorry, I'm on mute. We're ready if you are.
Coming up next, it's Election Day and Pennsylvania is front and center. See how voters are making their ways to the polls and casting their votes.
Community members are much more activated to learn more plus how those across the Atlantic view this election and why they believe it'll also affect them.
And many fans are fuming after another Penn State football loss. Where do the Lions go from here? The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon. I'm Callaway Turner. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report on this Election Day 2020.
And I'm Jason Schulman. Our top story: it's Election Day, and voters across central Pennsylvania are going to the polls to choose a president and other offices. Reporter Addison Albert begins our live coverage in downtown State College. Addison?
Thanks, Jason. I'm here at the State College Municipal Building, where there has been a constant flow of voters since the polls opened at 7 a.m. today. They're expecting a higher number around lunchtime, and then again when people get off of work around dinner time. I took a closer look at how the coronavirus has been affecting the polls and how poll workers have prepared. All eyes are on Pennsylvania today as poll workers are getting ready for in-person voting. Polls open at 7 a.m. but look a bit different this year because of the pandemic.
We're going to go ahead and start voting.
The biggest difference here is that those mail-in ballots are more accessible. More people are going to be able to fill those out. And then, of course, the global pandemic that's happening, which is making us wear face masks and have our own pens and everything else that's happening today.
Poll workers will have their temperatures checked every 3 hours and avoid close interaction with voters. Ballots will be placed directly into a machine after a voter is finished.
We woke up at 6 o'clock. We started walking at 6:15, got here by 6:20. And we were the second ones in line, so I was kind of expecting a bigger line, but...
Voters will not be turned away. Their temperatures will be checked when entering the polling place, and if a voter is found with a fever, a separate table will be placed for them to vote, and the table will be sanitized after. Just 5 minutes after the polls opened this morning, there were more than 70 people already standing in line. Poll workers say it could take up to 30 minutes or more for people to get in the building and cast their ballots. Mail-in vote processing will continue all day. That's at the Penn Stater Hotel. I talked with the judge of elections, and he is expecting a less number of people in person than past presidential elections due to the amount of ballot requests by mail. We'll keep you updated for the rest of the day. Live from the State College Municipal Building, I'm Addison Albert. Now back to you.
Thanks, Addison. One familiar polling place at Penn State changed this year. It moved from the Hub to the Bryce Jordan Center. Reporter Kendrick Wright stopped by the BJC today.
The Bryce Jordan Center, more known for hosting sports and concerts, turned into a polling place on this election day. It's the new home for precincts 24 and 44-2. The switch is temporarily moved from the Hub Robertson Center despite the ongoing pandemic. Turnout was strong this morning, and it's expected to stay busy all day.
It concerns me a little bit, so many people coming to one location, but I hope that they organize it well.
COVID guidelines and protocols were in place. Masks were required, and social distance was encouraged. Election officials were also wearing safety shields.
Even before 7 a.m., 170 people were out in line waiting to vote.
This is an important and historical day.
You've got a lot of reasons to go vote, and I think they're really exciting for our generation to be voting, and especially for a lot of college students in our first presidential election.
In University Park, I'm Kendrick Wright for the Center County Report.
Polls are open until 8 o'clock tonight.
Along with the presidential race demanding the attention of most voters, Pennsylvanians are also voting for 3 important statewide positions. Reporter Rachel Velez takes a closer look.
Voters will decide 3 statewide offices on Election Day: Attorney General, Treasurer, and Auditor General. The Attorney General race features Democratic incumbent Josh Shapiro, who is trying for a second term. The Republican challenger is Heather Heidelbaugh, a former Allegheny County Council member. The ballot also includes Libertarian candidate Daniel Wasmer and Richard Weiss from the Green Party. The race for treasurer includes Democratic incumbent Joe Torsella, Republican challenger Stacey Garrity, a retired colonel with the U.S. Army Reserves, Libertarian Joseph Solosky, and Green Party candidate Timothy Runkle. The Auditor General job is open because Eugene DePasquale hit a term limit and is now running for a Harrisburg area congressional seat. The election to replace him includes 2 candidates of color, Democrat Nina Ahmad, a former deputy Philadelphia mayor, and Republican Timothy DeFore, a Central PA county controller. The ballot also has Libertarian Jennifer Moore and Green Party candidate Olivia Faison. The Auditor General role is to uncover government waste and wrongdoing. I'm Rachel Velez with the Center County Report.
Other races we're following today include the U.S. congressional races in District 12 and 15, along with 4 state General Assembly races in our area.
The race for the presidency could hinge on how Pennsylvania votes. And even though many have already mailed in their ballots, in-person voting today is also critically important. Gina Cadigan has more on Pennsylvania's role.
When it comes to battleground states, Pennsylvania may be an all-out war. Many experts say our state could ultimately decide the presidential election.
I'm really glad that the nation is activated and hoping that will draw out votes.
PA voters requested 3 million mail-in or absentee ballots this year. That's 10 times the amount received in 2016. Democrats outnumber Republicans in Pennsylvania by more than 700,000 registered voters. But there are 1.3 million who aren't associated with either party. A lot of eyes are on counties like Butler, which has nearly 2 Republicans for every Democrat. Some residents like Colleen Smith are basing their vote on issues ranging from the economy and fracking to abortion and law and order.
Community members are much more activated to learn more and to be involved and to get to know the candidates.
Within Butler County, places like Slippery Rock are also being closely watched. Republican Mayor John David Longo said he's been focusing on encouraging everyone to vote no matter their party.
I think it's so important that we are doing what I think is our American duty, our obligation to our founding fathers and to those who came before us to go and exercise the right to vote.
Despite the political divide, Longo says his community gets along well.
We have more in common than not. And the sooner we all start thinking of ourselves as Americans rather than Republicans or Democrats or anything else in between, I think the sooner we can start to heal the divide and bridge the gap.
In Butler County, I'm Gina Cadigan for the Center County Report.
Pennsylvania has 20 electoral votes, and many political experts say those votes could decide the presidential election.
The world is watching today's U.S. election, but what are people in other countries thinking? Chanel Porter talked with journalism students in Italy to get their perspective.
On one side, you have, for example, Donald Trump, and on the other side, you have Joe Biden. What if you are super against the idea of Donald Trump, but you do not like Joe Biden? What if?
The world is watching America's election, and in places like Italy, they're seeing how the media, the voters, and the candidates themselves are divided.
Trump is depicted as negating the problem of coronavirus, and Biden is the one depicted as the one who is caring about, let's say, health situation about coronavirus.
Trump is a danger for the civil rights, but I think he is also much more better than Biden in terms of foreign policy.
These journalism students in Italy believe many European countries provide more choice.
In most of European countries, and also in Italy, we have a lot of parties and candidates who run for the general elections. And this means more choice, more different personality who can represent my vision.
From the point of view of a person who voted 6-7 times in my life for various things, and I never voted the same thing.
Coronavirus dominates their news, just like ours.
The media is overwhelmed by coronavirus. 8 months in this thing that every day, #1 news.
They believe Italy will be affected by the U.S. outcome.
Yes, politics affect my country, most of all in terms of economics and foreign policy decisions.
And like American voters, they wait for the results.
Right newspapers say that Trump has still the chance to win. Left and institutional media say that Trump is doomed and Biden is going to win.
I'm Chanel Porter for the Center County Report.
Join us tonight for live election coverage at 8 o'clock on our YouTube channel and our website, centercountyreport.com. We'll also keep you updated on Twitter and Facebook.
It's felt more like winter than fall so far this week, but will the weather turn around by the end of the week? Nick has the forecast after the break. Also coming up, how one local small business was benched by COVID. Let's see how the owner is using that to his advantage.
So I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
The family of a man shot and killed by State College police have filed a federal lawsuit against the borough and 10 officers. Osaze Osagi was killed when officers responded to his apartment last year to serve a mental health warrant. He was a Black man with a history of mental illness. Police say they fired when he came at them with a knife. His family is now suing, claiming the police department had years of what it calls systemic failings.
Penn State and other Pennsylvania universities are opposing new proposed F1 visa rule changes. Those are the visas used by international students. Under the proposed change, those students won't be able to stay long enough to finish their degree programs. They'd be given 2 or 4 years until their visa expires. Penn State has more than 11,000 international students, scholars, and staff. The university says not allowing them to stay longer would prevent the brightest students from around the world to study in the U.S.
We have some breaking news right now. Today's new COVID numbers are in for Centre County. There are 39 more positive cases since yesterday. That brings the total to 4,356 cases since March. The number of deaths in Centre County is now at 19. And Penn State's new COVID numbers are due out today. University Park has seen more than 3,800 cases since August.
The COVID-19 pandemic hit small businesses hard, but one Pennsylvania owner is trying to get his business off the bench and into the spotlight this election season. Preston Shoemaker has the story.
Will Heitman is the owner of Infinite Fabrications in Schuylkill County. He makes business signs, fire pits, tables, and more. When the pandemic hit, he couldn't go to trade shows to show off his work, so he had to adapt.
But then we've had no fairs, no shows, and like I said, I'm a solopreneur. I don't have a large group to get the word out there.
Enter the Great 2020 Bench Selection, Heitman's solution to spotlighting his work and business.
And I guess a Trump ad came on and I was like, oh, I'll do a Trump bench. And then I was like, well, I want to show people variety, so I'll do another one. Well, I'll do the other one. And then I thought, oh, I'll have a contest.
He built special Trump and Biden benches, had people vote for which bench they wanted, and on election night, he will give away each bench and have his own presidential poll. Heitman traveled across the state attending rallies for both candidates to raise awareness about the benches.
I'm trying to get where there's people so that I can get the word out so that people can vote and see the quality of the work.
Heitman is hoping all the exposure and election hype pulls his business off the bench. I'm Preston Shoemaker for the Centre County Report.
Heitman hopes the benches will bring enough exposure and expand his business and hire more employees. He'll pick the winners tomorrow.
Penn State's Thon has revealed the total for its Dream Forward campaign. Over 13 days, Thon volunteers tried to raise $500,000 for childhood cancer efforts. Restaurants, gyms, and other venues donated a portion of their profits to Thon. Penn State clubs and organizations contributed to the campaign through donation boards and other fundraising. When it ended, the event raised more than $690,000.
Everyone, we started this work week with below average temperatures, but we are going to be ending it with above average temperatures. Looking at Beaver Stadium right now, look at all of that sunshine. Temperatures currently getting into the 50s. We'll see those continue to increase as we head into this afternoon. Seeing much of the same across central Pennsylvania, seeing a lot of 50s, and even the same across parts of the Commonwealth, some cities to the west, still staying into the 40s, but those will increase as we head into this afternoon. Now, I did mention earlier that for the end of the work week, we will be seeing above average temperatures, and those could even linger into the start of next week. This is due to a ridge building into the parts of the East Coast. We will see those temperatures continue to increase. Our average high for this time of the year is 55, but by the weekend, we could be looking at close to the 70s. And with that ridge building in, we will start to see a lot of clearing throughout the rest of the work week. Look at how widespread this ridge is, seeing lots of clear conditions across parts of the United States. We do see continued clearing into this evening and even into tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine in the forecast, and that's really just going to dominate our weather pattern into the weekend as well. We do see a piece of shortwave energy that will be moving into the area for Thursday, but really that's only going to bring in some patchy cloud cover, not expecting too much with it. For today, sunny conditions, temperatures getting into the 50s. Something to note is the wind, gusts possibly gain upwards of the 20s, so something to be aware of if you are out and about. Tonight, temperatures dropping into the 30s with clear conditions, and also tomorrow, clear conditions remaining, warming up, getting into the 60s. And for your 7-day, plenty of sunshine to go around, and also notice the temperatures. Temperatures getting possibly near the 70s for the weekend. If you are out and about voting today, make sure you grab that extra jacket as temperatures are going to be in the low 50s, but it might feel a little bit cooler than that with the winds. Now I'm going to send it over to Preston with sports.
Thanks, Nick. Coming up next in sports, after a tough loss to Ohio State, Penn State will host Maryland this weekend, looking for the first win of the season. We look ahead to the game. Also coming up, Bellefonte took on Juniata in the PIAA District 6 Championship. We have the highlights from Friday night's game after the break.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Hi, I'm Peter. And there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in! Help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first, don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
Don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of
I'm Preston Shoemaker with sports. After another loss to the Buckeyes, Penn State is now winless and looking for some answers. The Nittany Lions played their first home game against number 3 ranked Ohio State, losing 38-25. They're now out of the top 25 AP poll for the first time since 2016, and they're in last place in the Big Ten East. Coach James Franklin said that after the game, it's time to get back to work.
But there's a bunch of things that we got to get cleaned up. Obviously, we got to get in here on Sunday and get a bunch of things corrected. And I know we'll do that as a staff and the players. So,
Penn State plays Maryland Saturday at Beaver Stadium. Now to high school football. After a rough start to the season, Bellefonte took its 3-game winning streak into the PIAA District 6 Class 4A championship game on Friday night. Reporter Matthew Knobb has the highlights.
It was a back-and-forth affair between Bellefonte and Juniata in Friday's district championship. Down 14-7 in the second quarter, Juniata quarterback Jacob Kondo found Jace White for a touchdown, tying the game at 14 going into halftime. The Red Raiders opened the scoring in the third with a touchdown run from Jalen Emmel to make it 21-14. Juniata responded quickly as running back Caleb Seeger broke away on a 63-yard touchdown run. The extra point made it 21-21. After a scoreless start to the fourth, Juniata milked the clock with a long drive, and Ben Wagner split the uprights from 23 yards out with just under 4 minutes remaining to give the Indians the lead. Juniata sealed the 24-21 win with an interception from Zachary Haar, giving the Indians the District 6 championship.
It's been quite some time. I think it's been 33 years since we won a district championship. I'm happy for the kids, and success breeds success. So hopefully the program keeps moving forward.
On the other side, Bellefonte coach Shannon Manning believes his players, many of whom he's known for 7 years, should not be defined solely by their results on the field.
I'm really proud of them, and I know you measure, people often get measured on wins or losses. I hope this group, in particular senior group, does not get measured on wins and losses. They deserve more than that.
With Bellefonte's loss in the District 6 championship game, all 5 Center County high schools have now been eliminated from playoff contention. Reporting at Mansion Park Stadium in Altoona, I'm Matthew Knobb for the Center County Report.
Juniata will continue its quest for a state championship Saturday against Oil City. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. at Mansion Park Stadium in Altoona. In the NFL, it was a good weekend for the Steelers and Eagles fans. We start with Pittsburgh, which is 7-0 for the first time since 1978. The Steelers beat the Ravens 28-24 Sunday. The defense forced 4 turnovers, including a pick 6 on the first drive of the game by Robert Spillane. They also allowed over 450 yards and struggled to stop the Ravens' run attack. Ben Roethlisberger threw for 2 touchdowns. They play Dallas this weekend. The Eagles beat the Cowboys 23-9, overcoming 4 Carson Wentz turnovers. The Dallas offense struggled to score under rookie quarterback Ben DiNucci. The Eagles now have a bye week. Back to high school sports. Phillipsburg Osceola girls volleyball team has won the Mountain League title and finished their season undefeated at 15-0. The team went from practicing outside on a sand court to winning matches against competitive teams like Bald Eagle, Northern Cambria, and Forest Hills. Coach David Eckberg says it's been a challenging year with COVID, and having just 1 senior on the team, everyone had to step up.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, our senior, we do call upon her and have called upon her to be that leader, but she also knows that under the circumstances that we've had to all endure, we kind of need a little bit more of a team approach. So she's been great with saying, let's lead by committee, let's lead by example, hold each other accountable. And that's what we've embraced this year. It's been pretty successful.
Congrats to PO on their unbeaten season. They are now ranked 5th in the state in Class 2A by the PA Volleyball Coaches Association. That's all for sports. Let's send it back to Callaway at the anchor desk.
Thanks, Preston. Coming up next, Trick or Treat Not on Halloween. See why the Center County region changed the date of trick-or-treating and how people kept the spirit alive while staying safe.
taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
After being moved from Halloween night to Thursday and then to Sunday, trick-or-treating in the State College area finally happened. Emily Kyler reports.
As if 2020 wasn't weird enough, how about trick-or-treating in November? The Center County region moved trick-or-treating up 2 days from Saturday to Thursday because of the Penn State football game, mainly for safety and crowd reasons.
The bars are operating at their statewide capacity, so I'm sure that they will be doing Halloween-themed events this weekend. So there definitely will be, more foot traffic.
But then bad weather pushed trick-or-treat back again to Sunday night. To add to the unusual year, the coronavirus threat had many families changing the way they celebrate Halloween with their kids. On top of wearing masks while going out, some people have shared the idea of using kitchen tongs to hand out the candy to children so they can avoid the physical touch. Many health experts consider traditional door-to-door trick-or-treating and handing out candy a high-risk activity, so parents got creative as they tried to make sure their kids enjoyed Halloween events. Megan Skripchek, who has 2 daughters, wanted her children focused on the fun.
So I was able to incorporate their masks into their costumes so that they could just focus on having fun and going trick-or-treating to get their candy.
Even though this year's trick-or-treat night happened after Halloween, kids and parents still had a great time.
Happy Halloween!
In State College, I'm Emily Kyler for the Center County Report.
This is the second consecutive year that trick-or-treating has been moved from Halloween night in the State College area. And Callaway, isn't that such a shame? 2 straight years?
I don't know, Jason. I think trick-or-treating the day after Halloween is just an extra day of fun. That's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centercountyreport.com. Join us for special election coverage tonight at 8, and you can follow us anytime for breaking news on Twitter. That's at Center County REP, or on our Facebook page. We also have a Center County Report Instagram. Have a great day. Thank you.